So just a reminder of how to be really efficient with your time. Using keyboard shortcuts is one way to work more efficiently. And also sharing those keyboard shortcuts out with students so they can start to get that digital citizenship component in how they can work more faster and more efficiently as well. So one thing to keep in mind is the control versus command. I'm on a MacBook Pro. So when I am doing keyboard shortcuts, oftentimes command is one of the hotkeys. On PCs and Chromebooks, it is control. So you'll hear throughout my presentation going back and forth saying command C or control C. Those basically mean the same thing. It's just a different platform. So one of the first things that I wanted to share out was screenshots. Knowing how to do a screenshot can really be transformative in your grabbing pictures and whatnot, adding it to your presentations, and encouraging your students to screenshot as well. So there is a Chromebook simulator that also will give you a visual of what students see on the Chromebook. And also there is a keyboard shortcut link right here. So once I get to the next presenter, I'll start dropping in some of the links that I'm sharing out right now. But I also wanted to share out how to take a full screenshot versus a partial screenshot. So again, on a PC, it'd be slightly different than on a Mac, but on a Mac, command 3, 4, or 5. So if I did command 3, that would do something slightly different than if I do command 4. And I'm sorry, I need to be hitting shift key. Command shift 3 takes the whole screen. Command shift 4, I get a little target to do part of my screen. And then command shift 5, it allows me to also do a portion of my screen. So again, on a PC, it's very similar. It's just slightly different. And I do have a link I will give you once we move on. Moving on to my next hotkey tip. Copy, cut, paste, and undo. Those are like the top 4. If you're going to learn any keyboard shortcuts, those are the 4 that you want to know. So why do you want to know them? Because how nice is it to copy something, cut it, and then move it over, and then paste it back. So here is something I'm going to move over to this slide and paste, and I did it all with keyboard shortcuts, lickety-split. So let's slow down and talk about what I just did. So I clicked on the object that I want to copy, cut, or paste, and I hit Control X. I cut it. I went to the slide I wanted it to go to. Maybe I want to add a slide. And then Control V, as in Victor, allows you to paste it in. So here I have a dog, and I want to build kind of like maybe a Google Classroom, etc. All of these hotkeys can really help you to work more efficiently and quickly. And then sometimes you'll notice that they aren't in the right order, and knowing that right mouse click, order, or arrange is super helpful. Arrange is up top, and there are keyboard shortcuts for almost everything you can imagine right next to it as well. One other thing I didn't mention before, if I go back a few steps. Okay, so I have a bunch of things all together right there, and I want to select them all at once and move them around. Knowing to click on your touchpad or your mouse and drag, you can move many objects all at once. And I find that to be super helpful when you are building things like a Google Bitmoji Classroom. One other very transformative thing is how many times are you working and you accidentally cut X out of a tab and you're like, oh, where did that go? Control Shift T will bring it right back. So that is another really quick tip, Control-Shift-T, that will reopen a tab. And the other really awesome tip with that particular one is if you restart your computer and hit Control-Shift-T, all of those tabs that you had usually end up coming back. I can't promise, but it does work on the Macs. And I have heard other people say that does work. So give it a go at some point. Another tip that I love to share out is how to hyperlink something super fast and quick. And that is Command. I'm going too fast here. I got to slow down and take a breath. Command K. You can link objects very quickly. And if I wanted the Irish, let's say this is a St. Patty's Day thing, and I wanted to have students go and look at a particular thing. Moving on.
Kristen, you can finish, or Teresa, you can finish your thought.
That's okay. All I was saying is that you can hyperlink pretty much anything and anything, and that's a simple hotkey by hitting Control K.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Hi, everyone. This is Sue McCoy. So my set of flavors is going to be to color code your Drive folders. We're going to start off with that. And remember not to eat too much at the same time, otherwise you'll get a bellyache. So we're going to share all this out. And if you have a Google Drive and you would love to have some colored folders like this, you can color your folders by actually right-clicking on one of those gray folders and go down to change color and choose any color that you want. Here, I'm going to pick pink so that it's springy. Yay! And that is a really easy way to change your color, change your folders. You can also two-finger tap if you're working on a laptop. The second flavor that we're going to be working on today is, well, once you create those folders and you want to move all of these random files, for example, into your to be determined folder. It's my favorite folder to create because I like to dump all my yucky files that I don't want to look at right away. You can go ahead and highlight one file and move it over and do a click and drag, which looks like this, which is shaded blue with a blue border so that you know to drop it in. Or you can, again, two-finger tap or right-click and manage moving the file by what is going on here. Don't know. Okay. There we go. Moving too fast. All right. So again, just two-finger tap and okay. Let's try it this way. Two-finger tap or right-click and click on the Move To button, and then toggle your way into the file that you would like to move the file into the folder. So let's say that you have a bunch of files and you don't want to move one at a time because that will take forever. You can highlight that and click Shift and your down arrow to grab as many files as you want. And then you can click it and drag it all into that TBD folder so that you don't have to do one at a time. Now, if you wanted to highlight and grab multiple files and use that move option, that is also something that you can do as well. So I'm going to go ahead and Shift and click all the way down. And then I'm going to move that by using the window that pops up and toggling it into the folder that I want it to go into. There we go. All right, so you ever look into your Google Drive and notice that there is this starred button here and you're like, what's that? Well, starring items in Google Drive allows you to quickly locate important documents and files that you might be engaging with frequently. And if I click on the starred file, you'll see that I have stuff in here that I've been kind of working with a lot. And you can start any file or folder that you would like to have access to right away without having to click through all your files. So for example, my files are very nicely organized here, 2020, 2021, but I find myself having to constantly click into these wonderfully organized files, and it kind of takes me a little while. And I don't really like that because it takes too long, especially when I'm constantly waiting for something to buffer. So instead, I can star the file. And again, you can do that by right-clicking or by two-finger tapping. You will see that, I'm not sure what that is. Hold on. Okay. You will see this star here. And you can see that I've already starred these. I'm going to go back and star something else. So let's see. We're going to go to a file. And that way I don't have to do all this clicking back and forth. And then it'll just show up in my starred folder. So let's go down, and you can see how it'll save you a lot of time so you don't have to wait for that buffering. All right, so we're going to go ahead and right-click or two-finger tap on a laptop and add to starred. Now, if I ever have any documents that I want to reach really quickly, I can see that I have the document that I just starred in here. Our fourth flavor is going to be the priority page. Now, the priority page is Google's way of kind of showing you what it thinks is an important file or document that you maybe be engaging with. So up here in the left-hand nav bar, you'll see at the very top, it says priority. And there is going to be a set of windows at the very top that Google has placed there because its brain thinks that you are working most with these files, which is mostly correct. However, if by any chance you want to customize your priority files and you want to create a workspace, you can do that as well. Now, this will allow you to put up to 25 files in here. And so I have one here already called schoolwork. You can rename it if you would like to. I'm going to keep it the same. And so if you want to add any files in here, you can do that by clicking the View Workspace, Add Files, and go ahead and click on any file that you would like to add into that workspace. I'm going to go into my drive, actually.
Sorry. All right. So you can finish that thought, and then we're going to move on to, looks like Kristen's up next.
I'm going to go ahead and click Culturally Responsive Education, add selected files, and you will see that I can add that file right there. Done. Done, done, done. And it'll show up right there. Have fun, everyone.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kristen Weiss. I'm so excited to share all my ideas here that have been saving me so much time when I'm building my Google Slides. And sometimes I build Google Slides just to use as Google Slides, but sometimes I build them to put them into Nearpod or put them into my favorite program, ClassKick. Okay, without further ado, here are the 11 top tricks I have for you today. So have you ever been in a hurry and just needed a Google slide or a doc or a sheet or even a form? Don't go into your waffle anymore. All you have to do is come up here, click on tab, and you write slides.new, and voila, a new slide comes up. Or you can write forms.new and a new form pops up. So it's quick, it's easy, and it saves you time. The next one is, have you been loving your Slides Mania, Slides Carnival, and Slides Go pre-made templates? And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you need to check out these websites because it does the work for you. But sometimes when you're in here, you see like this leaf, this green leaf right here. Maybe I don't want that, but how do I get it out of here? So that can become quite annoying. But here's the trick. Go into View, go into Master, and then here it is. Now you can delete any of these flowers, any of these objects that you want to personalize it even further for what you want to do or how you want your background to look. When you click it off, voila, it's gone. So go to View and then Master. All right, hack number 3. So many times before I found this next hack, this is what I would do for my students. Easy for me, but hard for them to figure out. So if I have a sentence, every blank has one and only one blank. And here's my word box, and I want my students just to type in here. Again, they have to highlight it and then delete it or backspace it until it's done. Well, why not try this trick? Go right up here to where you would find a new slide. Pick on anyone that has a pre-made text box already. So I would just click it, and there it is. Click to add subtitle. All you have to do is highlight it, copy it, and then bring it down here and embed it right here into your Google slide. So when the students see the work, all they have to do is click the box and it's ready for them to type their answer. There's no more backspacing and deleting text that you put in, and it's easy for you because you don't have to write text here every time. But you're afraid that your students might be messing up with these text boxes or these text boxes, and you just wish that it was one background. Here's the trick. All you have to do is go into File and then Download, make it a PNG, and then it'll automatically download to your computer. Find a blank slide, or any slide actually. Go to Background, go to Choose Image, throw that right back in there, and there it is. Now you won't be able to move the background, but this part you still will be able to. So there you go. The next hack I have here for you is if you have this star from your emojis or whatever, and you want to just duplicate it, and you don't want to copy paste. All you have to do is, off the heels of Teresa, go Control D, which is for duplicate, and you'll be able to put the stars next to any of the students' names. But you don't want the students to know who it is before the big reveal. You're in present mode in Google Slides. Click the W button, and it changed your whole screen to white. Click any button to come back. Click the B button, and it'll change everything to black. Well, why would I really use this? Sometimes if I'm teaching a lesson and the kids still don't understand it, I'll change it to white if I'm in person, and I'll freeze my screen and I'll use this as a whiteboard. The next hack is using Bitmojis and Giphies on your Google Slides. It's as easy as, if you have Bitmoji extension already in, go up here and click, and then pull in any Bitmoji you want, just like that, from the extension in, and then all you would have to do is arrange it to be wherever you want. Now, the next are some Jiffy. I heard it's Jiffy. Who knows how to really say it? So you go to your Jiffy extension, and if the internet was working, I would be able to type in anything here, and then a slew of different GIFs would come up, or stickers or text, and I would pull them in just like here. But here's the trick. There's going to be two boxes, and on the top layer of the box, on top of your picture, there's going to be something that says Giphy.com or something like that. What you need to do is, when you pull that in, click off of it to the side, and then you'll be able to separate the two and just delete the text that's on top. Sorry about that. I wish I could have showed you. All right, here's my next hack. Okay, so we have a text box, we have our pictures, and I think we all know the whole idea of like going up to the middle and either bringing it flush right, or we could even put it in the middle here. But how many of you have ever spent your time going like this and trying to get it all the way into the middle, and you can't do it? But it's been right underneath our noses. Go right up to the top and click this button right here. It'll automatically put it into the middle. Oops, it'll automatically put it into the middle for you, or all the way to the top, or all the way to the bottom. Do you love where it says planets and you don't want to have the laborious task of trying to change every single one? Highlight the font that you like, go to the paint format, click here, make a text box, and voila, they're all changed, and you just have to have a little bit more to do. Okay. If you're in your present mode and you want to have all of these wonderful things come, and you want to be able to move them and highlight them, move them and manipulate them, but you just don't have the extension for it, and you want it to have it be big and everyone to see it, well, here you go. Oh, I'm almost done. All you have to do is watch this 1-minute video on how to get that full screen extension. And while you're there, check out all of our other 1-minute videos and subscribe to our Albany Tech Coach channel.
I am showing some quick tips and tricks on Seesaw, things to make it more effective and efficient while you're working. If you notice right here, there's this picture of a speaker icon. If you didn't know, you can put icons in your directions in Seesaw. I am going to share out this link so you can save these tips and tricks in your Seesaw library for future use for those of you who are avid Seesaw users. Today, you're going to learn how to add voice to items, learn how to lock size, lock all, and you know how she duplicated real quick? You can do that in Seesaw too. I'm going to go down here and I'm going to edit my activity. Here I am in my template. So I have 4 tech tips for you right within Seesaw today. Number 1 is going to be how to add voice 3 ways. Adding voice is one of Seesaw's new updated features. Locking the size only of an item so students can still move it around. Locking all of the item and duplicate. And many of these we're going to do with a keyboard shortcut. All right, number 1, talk about adding voice 3 ways. So here is a text box, but sometimes I'll have students who are still learning to read English or learning to read it all. I can click on the 3 dots at the bottom, click on voice, and record my voice reading "What is your name?" A little speaker icon shows up right here on the size for the students. And I'm not going to give away my locking tip yet, so I'm going to click over here and lock all so students can't move that around. Students are still learning to identify money, and I want to put in a little bit of help for those students. I can click on Add Voice, record my voice, Penny. And now when the students are coming back to the activity, they can hear what the name of each of the items are, and I'm going to lock all. So one way to add voice is to click on those 3 dots and add voice. If I come over to these 3 dots, those little magic dots open lots of things here. I can click on voice here and give the students directions for the page. It pops this word listen right in the text box. When I click record voice, boys and girls, today you're going to learn about money. I can take that box. Let's get my pointer here again. Move it up to the side, and I teach the students that whenever they get on a new page, they can listen to the directions. You can also down here by the caption, click on the little caption. You can tell the students, today we are going to learn about money. I can also record myself saying that. Boys and girls, today we're going to learn about money. Some of the coaches have mentioned that they put an arrow pointing to the caption for students that are new users of that feature. When the students click on it, they can play that voice and hear what to do. So tech tip number 1, adding voice 3 ways. 1 was the speaker, 2 is the caption, 3 with the little dots. All right, tech tip number 2, lock the size of items. So my students are working on money today, and I want them to sort these coins. I want to lock the size of the items, so instead of them spending their whole time making them bigger and smaller and enjoying what they're doing, they can just lock them and move them. Shift Control M. Shift Control M means that those dots go away and students can move the item, but they can no longer make it bigger or smaller. So I can now quickly go through, lock the size of all my items with Shift Control M. Thank you for your patience so we can get them all. And now the students cannot move the items. I could go and use one of the features we just talked about and add voice and say, boys and girls, please sort the coins. And now they can no longer change the size of the items. Their only choice is to move them around. Tip number 3, Shift Control L. That would lock them in place, or lock all. So now instead of the students sorting the coins and spending 20 minutes playing with them, I want the coins to stay in place so the students can count them. So instead of Shift Control M, I do Shift Control L, and that locks the item in place. So now the students not only can't change the size, but they cannot move the size. So again, this is Shift Control L, keeps the items in place. Students can count them, leave you with an answer. If you needed, you can use one of the voice items. You could leave the students' models at the top. If I wanted to add in an extra picture of these, in case the students forgot the value of the, oh, I loaded it on my other computer. Never mind, I can't do that. I'm going to unlock one of these. I could make a copy. Control-C, Control-V would work for one. I can put it up here, and I can add voice to this item. Nickel, 5 cents. So if a student doesn't remember the value of the coin, they can look at the reference model. Oh, I don't want to turn it. We're going to lock that in place. Here we go, Shift Control L. So you can still have the speaker, 5 cents, and the students can listen as they're counting the money. Now you wonder, how did I make all those coins? Because we know that having to copy and paste could take a while. But just like Kristen said, Control D works in Seesaw. So now, right now, these coins, they're not locked in size or locked in place. I can take them and I can hit Control D and make a bunch of copies. And maybe on this page, I ask the students to leave for me 45 cents. So I can then go back if I want, Shift Control M, and I can lock each of these on the sides so that when the students are doing it, they can't change the size, and then they can go ahead and drag the right amount of money to where they need it. And those are my Seesaw tech tips.
I have a few Chromebook tips for you. I don't know if you may have been in our session earlier today with the intro to Chromebooks, where we went over some of the new features and some of the top tips that I really like about Chromebooks. But over the past couple of weeks, I've been had Chromebooks on the brain like crazy, And there's just a few things that I want to make sure that everybody knows, right? So first, I've got my little Chromebook here so you can see what I'm doing as we're doing it. I'm actually presenting from this one. So let us swap over to here. And now you should be able to see, yeah, Chromebook touchpad tricks, right? Now, you're probably familiar with, right, how you use a touchpad. You bring your finger around, you slide the mouse cursor. You can tap once for a click, and that's fine. You don't actually ever have to press down on the touchpad itself to click, because as long as you do a quick tap, that works just fine. Some of you might think you're all advanced because you figured out that you got 2-finger gestures too. So just in case we're not sure or we're not familiar with this, do we know that if we right-click on something, we can do a 2-finger touch and right-click with just a quick 2-finger tap. So 1-finger tap is going to be a left click, but a 2-finger tap is going to be a right click. So right there, that's a pretty cool feature that not everybody knows. But there's some more stuff too. Like, for example, did you know that you can take those same 2 fingers and then just slide left on your touchpad, and that's a back button? Or you can take those 2 fingers and slide to the right, and that's a forward button. So if you ever just want to do quickly, go back to that page you were just on, right? You could do a 2-finger slide that way, and that'll get it done. Also, if you're on a web page, did you know that you can pinch zoom? So you can use those 2 fingers, drag them apart to zoom in. And then once you're zoomed, you can use 2 fingers again, and you can just pan around that page, which could be handy, especially, you know, if something's tough to see, you can zoom it in that way. Bringing those 2 fingers closer back together again, we'll zoom it back to 100%. But you don't really like zoom out to some crazy small size, right? So maybe that can be helpful there too. What else? Well, let's say 2 fingers we got, but 3 fingers we want to try. So did you know that if you've got multiple tabs, you can do a 3-finger slide and slide across your open tabs? So right now I got slide 2, or rather tab 2, tab 1, and right back to tab 3 with a 3-finger slide. Pretty cool. Or if you like opening things in new tabs like me, you collect tabs like it's treasure or something, you hoard them like a dragon. Well, if you want to open up some tabs without having to do like a right click and open in a new tab, just 3-finger touch that link and it'll open in a new tab there for you. Okay, 3 fingers. One more trick. Have you seen the overview view here? You just 3 fingers swipe up, and now you can see everything that's open on your Chromebook. These desks here, we'll talk about those right now. Maybe you notice that I actually have 2 desks, desk 1 and desk 2. The new Chromebook update gives you an opportunity to organize different windows and files that are open in different desk spaces, so you don't have them all cluttered up in the same spot. You can make virtual desks just as easy as hitting new desk and calling it something. And as soon as you do that, now I can take 4 fingers, let's get a little advanced here, but 4 fingers, slide it over, and now I'm at desk number 2, slide it again, and I'm at desk number 3, and I can have different things open on each desk. All right, enough for that right now. Let's get back to our slides here. Chromebook just turned 10, and with that came, I'm going to use Kristen's word here. I didn't plan on it, but I've got to use slew. With that came a slew of updates, new features, way cool stuff, including that desks that you just saw, right? Workspaces that you can organize. But also, this might not be brand new. It's new to us, though. Not necessarily from this update, our split screen view. If you're not familiar with split screen view, the easiest way to do this on a Chromebook, this is like one of our #1 things that people want to do. Come over to this restore button up here. You don't need to see my fingers for this one. Go to restore, click it, hold it down, and notice now instead of minimize and close, I have these left and right arrows. And as I hover over one, I get a ghost image of where that's going to go on the left or the right side. I let it go, and there it is. Maybe I want a new window. I'm going to bring this out this way. New window. I can hold that down, bring it to the left. And again, now I've got my split screen. Super simple. If I hover over this divider, look, a handle appears. And now I can click that handle and I can drag this left or right. Last thing I want to get to, and this could be super quick because I've got a timer running, Jeremy. I see what you're looking at. You've got a screen capture button right here. This is going to bring you to the brand new screen capture tool, which also allows you to capture video. Okay, you can do it for the whole screen, an area of the screen, or just a window. Just make sure that you turn on that microphone and you can record video from your screen for your students right here. That's my info.
All right, so now let's talk fonts real quick. So if I'm going to fonts.google.com. Now you might have noticed that when you're in a doc, you can go to fonts here and see even more fonts, and it'll bring you to more. But if you want even more, you go to fonts.google.com, and then you could type in a file of text here. So there we go, Albany Teachers Rock. I'm not sure, it might have been sitting idle for a long time, but that's not it. I could sort by different categories. So maybe I only wanted handwriting. All right, so I can come up here and choose just handwriting fonts. And now I've got just some handwriting fonts that are sitting in here. And then I'm like, you know what? I want one that's a little thicker. So maybe I'm going to, change the thickness of it to something that's a little bit thicker. And that's only going to give me one. So maybe I need to go on the more thin side. But what's fun here is once I find one that I think is kind of fun and I like, which I can't really say it's any of these in the moment, but if I clicked on this one, Loved by the King, I'm just going to copy it. I'm not going to worry about downloading the font family or anything of that nature, just copying it. And now when I come back to my doc and I come here and I click on more fonts, I'm able to just paste that in by controlling V, shout outs to Teresa. And there it is, Loved by the King, okay. And now I'm able to write in that font. Furthermore, when I come back to this tool here, it's going to be one of my most recent fonts. So I'll have that at my disposal. Next up, let's take a look at Textonym. Textonym is a lot of fun for making various glowing and changing fonts. So you see I kind of have this Albany Teachers Rock again. I've chosen the style. I'm going to go ahead and click generate. It's going to generate a preview for me. And there it is. Now, one thing to know is if I just want a static image, I could copy and paste it. But if I wanted to have this movement, I have to choose Save Image As and then upload it because it's going to save it as a GIF file, which is a file that has motion inside it. And I can keep playing with different styles here if I want, and then regenerating as well. Another one along this along the similar lines is Text Giraffe. So here's Albany Teachers Rock, and you can go ahead and click on this, and you would see the same kind of thing pop up, where I'll be able to go through pages of styles that I just think are reflective of these Albany Teachers Rocking. And if I want one, I'll just copy the image and go paste it in whatever file I want. There's also glow text. So here we have Albany Teachers Rocking. Let's make that text. This one's a lot of fun too because I can play with the glow effect. So maybe I want none, or maybe I want super. Maybe I want an animation, so it's going to pulse. Just remember, if I do an animation or a sweep, I need to save it as a GIF afterwards. I can change the styles. I can also come down here and say, oh, you know what? I like this electric blue. That looks pretty sweet. So if I do just click on it, there it is. Again, if I want it to have that effect, I have to right click and do Save Image As. If I just want it flattened, I could just do Copy Image. Another little trick that I have to show you guys about in my next 90 seconds or less is a YouTube trick that's just awesome. So here I am on an Eagle Cam. This is youtube.com/whatever. But if I come up after this T and I type in minus, just a little minus sign, and hit enter, it's now going to bring me to a site where I can see this video without all the comments, without all the stuff on the side. It's just purely going to be this video sitting here. So I could give my kids that link instead of the link that's going to bring them to all the distractions of YouTube. So that's a super helpful tip. So next up is going to be the Ellis Island. So I'm on maps.google.com. I search for Ellis Island. I grab Pegman. All these little circles are 360-degree photos. Preview them first. I know this one is okay. I drop it off. Pegman goes in, and now I can take my students to Ellis Island and we can stand in here together. Now that I'm in here, I have a 360-degree look of Ellis Island. I made it inside. So that's pretty awesome. And the last one I wanted to show you is remove.bg. A lot of people are using this with their Bitmoji classrooms and whatnot. It's super effective when you want to take the background out of an image. So here I have an image that you saw in the last newsletter. This is the boat pre-remove.bg, right? So this is the boat, and what I did is I just brought it over to remove.bg, dropped it off. Yep, that's my time. This is my last thought on this. So I dropped it off. It removes the background. I download it, and then I've got it in my files without any background. So I can layer it on top of something else. So that was my time.
So if we take a very quick look, did you ever wonder how I got this to animate like this? And well, it's very, very easy, and we all have access to it. If you look at this, all I did is I pre-created this because I only have less than 30 seconds. You can see that ever so slightly, my character, my Bitmoji, is just flipped just a little bit each time to make that little nuance. All you have to do is go to Add On, go to Creator Studio, go to Create GIF, and then it's going to populate right over here on the side, and you're going to want to change the pixels from the default, which is 300 to 1600, and I try to do it super fast, so I give it a 0.5. Then I go animated GIF, I click go, and then it's going to populate. You can watch a preview of it before you download it, or you can just go ahead and download it first. And right now, all I see here is my animated GIF.
Relay Classroom is good for seeing student screens when they're on Chromebooks. One thing that you can do is send a link to all your students at a single time. So my test student here, who's currently browsing YouTube, and I can, let me just, so he's just on YouTube right now. If I want to send him a link, and maybe I just want to send him to, let me just grab, let's just do Albany Schools. To the wrong site because I misspelled schools, but you get the idea. I was able to send it to the student and it opened in a new tab on their device on their Chromebook. It's a super useful tool to send students to information.
So I am going to be sharing quickly how to make a folder in your bookmarks bar. All right, so we are going to go to the bookmarks, the three dots in the top right hand corner, and I'm going to go down to where it says bookmarks, and I'm going to come over here to Bookmarks Manager. I'm going to create a new folder so that things can be saved in a folder in my bookmarks bar for easy access. Three dots in the top right hand corner, add new folder. And I'm just going to call it now. I'm going to click save. All right, I have a folder now called now, and I'm going to just drag it up to the top so we'll be able to see it real quick. Kind of funny, some of the things that I'm finding in there. All right, over here, if I come back to my, oh, wrong click. This is what happens when we're trying to go fast. I'm going to take my word now and I'm going to drag it over here. Now, these are the things I use every single day. I have to log into School Stool. I'm going to drop it into that folder. I have to log into Outlook. I'm going to drop it into that folder. I need my 2-minute timer. I like that egg timer. Drop it into that folder. Log into Clever. Drop it into that folder. Now, you can see right here, I have all the Google Classrooms for the tech stuff. I have a folder of everyday things. What's really nice is I've got all these things I need every single morning, and if I right click on it, it'll open all 4 of them. So I come into school in the morning and I need to open all 4 of those things, and they open right away.